So welcome to this special segment in which we have Dr. Pritee Saxena with us. She is currently the campus head and senior director at IBS Mumbai. After completing her master's from Gujarat University and then a master's in marketing from NMIMS, she did her PhD from SNDT University in consumer behavior. After spending almost 18 years in various management positions, she decided to get into academics and she has been associated with IBS for the last 20 years. So in today's discussion, we are going to understand what is it that is so unique about IBS and what are the tips and suggestions that she has for all the students who are thinking of joining IBS this year. So first of all, thank you so much, ma'am, for taking out time from your busy schedule and joining us. So I would like to start with one question, that what is it that is so unique about IBS? First of all, you have spent a lot of time here, you've seen the growth of the institute. So what is it that you think which is very unique?
I moved into IBS way back in 2000, and since then I have seen the journey all through. IBS has grown. We started with a very small number of students. In Mumbai, we came in 1995, and we had a batch. The first batch was only 28 students. And from there, today, this campus itself, IBS Mumbai, has about 2,500 students, first year and second year put together. Now, that has been our growth story, the growth journey. And this is possible only when we work in order to stay ahead of competition. We work to keep adding new features. We keep on working on ensuring that we maintain our supremacy year on year. And as we go along, I will share with you some of the features that we have added in the last few years. One, of course, as I told you, the number of students, and that happens only when there is some kind of a preference building up, either through the word of mouth by the passing out batch, the alumni support, and of course, a lot of corporates and recruiters, when they start talking about this B school in their circles, the students start talking about it, and that's how you keep on getting the features, and you keep on getting the strength and the batch that keeps on increasing year on year. So if I have to talk about features, then I want to tell you that the latest, whatever is happening in the academic world, is what we try to get in. Just last year, we introduced the Gen AI lab. Before that, we invested in the Bloomberg lab. And this year, we have already got the SAP going for all the students, the SAP modules that is like specialization agnostic, and each one has to go through the SAP training. When we look at all these features which the industry wants, so our first motto is that can we be as close to the industry? What is it that industry wants, and can academia provide it? So the kind of industry academia partnering, I would say that is one of the major differentiators, and all other initiatives come under it. So if you ask me for one, then it is the industry academia partnership.
Great. So I would like to start by asking you questions about the selection process, and then we'll talk about the student life and then the outcomes for the students. So when you're looking at the students who are joining IBS, have you seen any sort of a demographic shift that has happened in the last few years? Are you getting more applications from students with work experience, or these are freshers? So if you could just shed some light on that.
I want to tell you, this time we are very surprised, that our batch has got almost some 10 dentists, which was not, the people coming after BDS, wanting to pursue management education. We have got students coming from, the architecture background, agriculture background. Now, these are very rare, otherwise normally what you would see would be that a commerce student moving into a business education. But when I'm looking at the profiles of the students, today we are getting students from varied fields, students specializing in geography, wanting to pursue management education. We look at the split of the ratio between the girls and the boys. Today we have almost got 46% girls, very heavily dominated by local Mumbai students preferring the campus. Initially, we had students all India, but the preference for the students from Mumbai, the batch split. I've got almost 70% students who are local Mumbai students, which was not the phenomena 4 years back. So it means that we have established ourselves in Mumbai. Ours is a centralized admission, so we were getting a lot of students from all India. But now with the kind of local Mumbai students demanding this campus and getting into the scores which a Mumbai campus would need, we are seeing that more and more local students are now wanting to pass out of this campus. So if you have to ask me in the demographic split, I would say that the kind of qualifications with which what students were pursuing at a undergraduate level, and now what so as I mentioned, the dentists, the architects, the BSc Agri, these are the students who are now more in the system.
So generally the students want to know that if there are any specific points that are assigned to these things. So is there any academic diversity point or a gender diversity points in the selection process? So is there anything like that, or this is happening in terms of how the industry is evolving or how the market is evolving?
Yeah, so in the selection process, there is no special preference, or there are no special gradings, or wanting to promote the girl students or this thing. We haven't done any of those things, and we feel that no, let it be on merit. So anyone who clears the the kind of scoring which is required qualifies for the admission. So it is meritorious student who will get, we have this philosophy, meritum ethicus, that you qualify the rounds, clear and get your scores, and that is where you will be in.
Okay. So what are the qualities that you are typically looking for? So when you're selecting the candidates, what is it that you think, okay, when you look at this person, you say that this is somebody that should be part of IBS?
Generally, when the admission rounds are happening, I told you that it is a centralized admission. So I don't know who is the faculty who is sitting for the selection process, and that could be from any other campus of IBS. But when we are assessing the students, we are assessing students on their communication skills. We are assessing students on their aptitude test, which is our own IPSAT is what we have as our qualifying exam. So we look at the score, what the student has scored during the in the aptitude test, the IPSAT exam, the communication skills in their micro presentations. So this year we are having micro presentations. Earlier we were having a group discussion. Now it is the micro presentations, and the personal interview. There we look at the sincerity and the commitment of the student for the next 2 years. Is the student going to commit himself for the the PG course or the management education, or will he just come and play the fool and not want to be academically sound? So these are the things which we will assess in the PI.
Let's talk a little bit about what happens once they start their MBA program. So how has been the student experience here? So what sort of extracurricular activities that happen on campus?
Lots. I mean, what we see is there are 50% students who would be driven by academics, and equal numbers who would be wanting a whole lot of activities on campus. And I think that's what brings the vibrancy and the energy levels of a campus. So when we look at the student clubs, so all the activities would come under the clubs. And these clubs, we have equal number of clubs for domain subjects. We have equal number of clubs for cultural, for the talent, creativity. We have got the music club, we have got the dramatics club, we have got the dance and the fashion club, along with the domain which goes by the specialization. And it is not just one club in a domain, but there would be about 3-4 in marketing. There would be another 4 clubs in finance, so also in HR, and so also in IT and operations. So the activities would come under these clubs. There are about 24 clubs that we have, which is coordinated by a faculty, but a whole lot of implementation and the driving of the club activity is by the student committee.
And generally, whenever we interact with students, a lot of them have this question that how difficult is it going to be to place so many students? As you said that you have so many students on campus, and I understand in the current scenario, especially when there's a lot of economic upwards movement and downward movement that keep happening. So how challenging it has been in the past, and what are the steps that you take to ensure that there is a steady recruiter flow?
See, now that we have been in this management education, almost going to be now 29 years in Mumbai. So if we look at, by now we know how to channelize the placement process. I would say that we have perfected it, because year on year, and we know that the admissions are very strongly dependent on the placement record. Having understood that, the way the working for the placement, it would start if our academic year is beginning in June. The work for the placement season would start in April for the upcoming batch, where the recruiters start coming in the month of September. So we are planning which companies to invite, what sectors are looking up, where are the jobs going to be. Now all this planning is done by the placement department, or the career development cell as we call it. So this department would work on identifying organizations who are going to be there. By now we have a very rich database of recruiters, who've been coming year on year. Also, we keep adding new recruiters every year. And when we look at which sector, so for example, today lots of opportunities in the GCC, or jobs where students can use Gen AI very well, or students who are not averse to data or can work on the data driven profiles. If the student understands that technology and this, jobs are plenty. So if you look at challenges, yes, there are challenges when the students very narrowly define the opportunities for themselves and not willing to relocate. But if they are willing to relocate and are willing to accept technology, then plenty of opportunities for the students. So I would say that it's the same side of, two different sides of the same coin, that you have challenges on one side and you have opportunities on the other.
So, any particular success stories that you would like to share, students who graduated from IBS, the alumni, and have made it in the industry?
See, if you look at all campuses put together, the alumni strength would run into more than 70,000. Mumbai alone would have contributed about 15,000 alumni, to this number. And we are very proud of the kind of achievements that these students or the alumni have. I have a list of students, who are based internationally and who are based in India. Today, they are all working in partner positions, for organizations like PwC or Grant Thornton. Very specifically, I'll give you an example, that how the institute helps students. There was the student in the batch passing out in 2016. He had some problem with his speech, and we knew, but he was an engineer, brilliant at technology. Only thing, he had a problem with his speech. So we thought that he will not be able to clear the group discussion. And we wanted that he be picked up by a good organization. So there was Deloitte coming on campus. And before the company coming, we sent him to the hospital, just in front of us. We said that go and consult a speech therapist and start working on your speech. So he was already under a speech therapist. And when the organization came, we spoke to the organization and we said that, look, he's already under this thing, but he's a brilliant boy. And so he said there will be a GD round. We are not going to eliminate that. The GD round will be there for him. But now that you have told us, we will have a look at it. Maybe we'll interview him separately. I think going to the speech therapist and his own determination to make it to a good organization, all these things came together and he performed brilliantly in the GD. He didn't have to have any concession for him, but they found him to be so good in the GD and he came back and he was selected. Today, he is in EY, sitting in Boston, on a very senior position. So he worked with Deloitte, and then from Deloitte he got posted in Chicago, and then from there he moved to so today he's in Boston, and so we feel so good, that though he had a limitation, but how it all got converted into a great opportunity and very, very successful. So plenty of these kind of students who we have enabled to get through the selection process, and then they have performed exceedingly well while they are in the industry, and we are very proud of them.
Yeah, good to know. Just wanted to ask you one more question, which was on, so a lot of students now, they want to know what exactly it is that companies are looking for, right? Because the ultimate outcome for a lot of them is placement. So what do you think is the industry looking for, and what skills students should start working on from right now itself before they even enter the business school? And of course, you will have 2 years with them where you're going to help them with their skills. But what is it that they should start from now on so that they get ready for that career?
Yeah, so broadly, if I have to put it, then I would put it under 3 heads, the conceptual, which is the domain knowledge, the skills, which could be technology, it could be communication, and the behavioral. So these 3 categories, if I have to put it, and so under behavior, I would put discipline. The organizations are particular about discipline, and they want that students who come, so though they are selecting, they're coming and seeing students, but in the students, they're looking at an employee, that how would he be as an employee? So discipline is what, and under discipline come many things, how you conduct yourself, your punctuality, the way you mingle with people, the office dynamics. Skills, as I told you, people are looking for IT skills. Generally, most of the organizations and the profiles that come in are of analyst. So they're looking at people who are hands-on with technology, the latest technology, and domain subject, yes. So domain subject is what is the business acumen that they are wanting students. So business acumen combined with technology and the right behavior. If these 3 things are there, is what the organizations want.
And one last question before we close. Any tips for students who are planning to apply to IBS? So what are the things that they should keep in mind?
Yeah, lots of things, but I will say that if they're planning to come to IBS, then I think they should be ready that next 2 years, they are going to be giving it to their higher education. They're investing time, they're investing money, and I'm sure a lot of dreams of the parents. So they should be willing to work hard, top it up with some kind of certifications, which institute will certainly enable. And whatever are the initiatives that the institute has, like the Bloomberg lab or the Gen AI lab or the SAP lab, they should make the best of those initiatives which institute has, and see that they go with additional certifications, whether it's a Bloomberg certification or it is the ESG certification or it is anything to do with data and analytics kind of certifications. So topping the syllabus, supplementing it with additional certifications would certainly help them.
So that brings us to the end of this segment. Thank you so much, ma'am, for taking out time and helping our students. If there are any questions, feel free to leave it as a comment on this video, and we'll try and get back at the earliest. All the best.
My pleasure, Prasad, being with you, and my best wishes to all of you for your upcoming pursuit in higher education. Thank you.